So I wanted to share pretty pretty exciting story. But during these times of uncertainty going forward, I've thought about what Jeff Bezos once said around how do you go around creating your own market? And I think with the times coming up, there's going to be a lot of market creation. There's going to be a lot of opportunities if we know how to create a market. I heard once about a story about the Michelin star system, and I thought, wow, that was an inspiring story to share around this time because it's a pretty important story as to where we're at. Where did this whole Michelin star thing come about? So my girlfriend introduced me to Jan, the series on Showmax, and it's a really cool artistic series about a South African restaurant in the middle of France. I think it's Nice. It's a restaurant that has a Michelin star rating. So that got me thinking again, like, where did this whole thing come from? Who decided that these were, who's the governing authority of what is a good restaurant from what's not, and where did this whole thing come from? I found an article from Escoffier, and they go into detail about just how this thing started. Turn of the century, 1900, when the automobile was invented, right? And not just invented, but currently like mass manufactured. Now, around that time in France, there were about 300 cars. There's a lot of bicycles, right? The company, the Michelin company, the tire manufacturer Michelin, headed off by Andre Michelin and Edouard Michelin, they wanted to sell more tires. But there were only 300 cars in France, and they realized that they were going to have a problem if they were going to have to sell more tires to people. So they really wanted to get people out and about. They wanted people not only buying a car, but using it. They wanted people traveling out to faraway places. They wanted to encourage people to use as much rubber on the roads as much as possible so that they could sell more tires. But they approached it a little bit differently, right? What they thought was, hey, if we want people to travel, let's give them a reason to travel, to get out and about. And so what they did was they decided they were going to put together this guide of great restaurants to visit all over the country. Reasons to go into those forgotten towns or the dirt roads, reasons to visit different places. So they went around and they found a whole lot of restaurants in the middle of different places, reason to visit these places, right? The system changed a bit over the year. The First World War happened, but by 1920, they were back on track. They were publishing the guide again, and they just carried on publishing it, carried on. And eventually in 1931, they expanded this rating system. So up until then, it had 1 star. It was a 1-star system. Now, there were 3 stars. In 1931, they expanded it to incorporate these 3 stars. And the first was a very good restaurant in its category. 2 stars if it had excellent cooking and it was worth a detour. And 3 stars if it had exceptional cuisine and it was worth a special journey. So they created an entire market out of nothing. 1955, that's where things changed a bit, and it really became a cemented acknowledgement of restaurants that served high quality fare at good prices. It's the reason why I wanted to share this story. It was such a profound learning around how to take an opportunity or seeing an opportunity for your business and seeing that there's a lack of what you're getting, right? You want sales. You want sales for your business. And how do you create the opportunities for people to get what they want so that you can get what you want? That's what I love about this story. The Michelin companies didn't go out and put this massive campaign together, say, hey, you need to get in your car and you need to be driving because we need to sell more tires. That was not what it was about. It was about, what do people want? People want novel experiences. People want to get out and see new places. People want to experience so much more of what our country has. And if they do that in cars, if they go far enough, they're going to need tires. And guess what? We're going to supply them with those tires because this is the name of our company, right? This is what we believe in. They built this community of restaurateurs and linked them to people in this guide. I mean, there were the first issue that went out had about 35,000 copies, created this audience that was suddenly waiting to hear about where they could go, what they could experience out there in the world. And Michelin ultimately benefited. But more than that, they created this entire platform for other restaurants to join. Look at how this benefited not just the people who visited these restaurants in this guide. Let's take a look at the restaurants themselves. Maybe you're a little restaurant in the middle of nowhere, but the Michelin Guide puts you on the map. Suddenly, your town has income coming in from tourism. You have people coming in from all over to experience your cuisine. That's what this whole opportunity to be alive is about. We're currently in some pretty dire times in terms of what we're capable of doing conventionally. We've been pushed up against the wall. We've been told things are going to be stuck like this for a while. But even in being stuck like that, there's opportunities. And how can we implement the same sort of thinking that Michelin put in place in the 1900s to create something that we still use today to measure great restaurants? That, for me, is a profound question to ask around this time, an exciting question to ask, especially since that's what we're doing with our teens in the online team program that we're doing. And we're starting our last week this week, and I'm excited to hear how we are going to take these teens and their ideas, their plans to the next level, so that they too can implement some of the thinking that Michelin pioneered so long ago. So how can you implement this in your life today? Whether you have your own business, whether you are employed, whether you have a family or not, how can you take what you're facing right now and create an opportunity for other people around you? Because that's how we make this world a better place. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome day. Catch you soon.